So let's go over here and we're going to go over the tools. But the one thing that I want you to do, you should be in object mode. Blender should be opened. Now I want you to go over to the first thing that's lit up is your select box. But before we play around with the selection tool, here's what we're going to do. I want you to go over here to the tool and I want you to make the arrow, make the little pointer, the selection, look like a double arrow. Click and drag out all the way until you can see what it says. That's very important because you want to be able to read the stuff. Now you see I have Hard Ops and Box Cutter. Again, those are two add-ons. Don't worry about those. That's a little advanced, so I don't want you to worry about that. The other thing that I want you to do is over here by the gizmo, there's a tiny little arrow. If you click onto it, it's giving you the other menus. Now, it's just probably going to say item, view, and tool for you. I just want you to see that I do have some other add-ons in here that we're not going to use. They are paid add-ons. I'm not advertising for anyone's add-ons, but this can help you out later on. If you want to press the N, as in nope, key, press N, that goes away. If you press N again, and if I ever go over here to open that up, I will remind you to press the N key or just to go over to the tiny little arrow and click. And to get rid of it, you press the N key. And on and off, okay? So, let us look at, we got select, that's what we're going to learn first. So, we'll go select and cursor. So, we have our cursor and we have our select box. Our select box, when we have this, if you click off of it, you just click and drag, just like for those of you that work 2D software. That's it. That's all you got to do. Now, of course, there's more than one way to select, and just like any other piece of software, if we left click and hold, you get tweak, which you can kind of click and drag onto it a bit. We click and hold, but the other one, like the select circle, I never use that, just like in Photoshop. I never use that select circle. I either use the box or I use the lasso. So grab the lasso and let's just kind of select the light. You just draw that and you let go and it highlights. You know that it is selected. Even if you can't see the highlight, if you look over to our little scene collection, our scene viewer, our view layer, then it's going to be highlighted in blue. You could change these colors, but let's just keep it as is. And so you see the light is highlighted. Now, if I want to select something again, let's say I want to select the camera, I can just go up here and select the camera. Now I want to select the cube. I'll just select the cube. So by default, I just keep it on select box. It's easy to understand. That's it. This does come in handy. I like, in context, select box works most of the time for me, for my purposes, for most people's purposes. But if I got to get in and select a little item and I want to quick select something, then I'll go in for the circle, especially if you have like 6 cubes that you didn't rename and you're trying to find the right one and you want to select it, then there you go. And just a shortcut, the A key, if you just press the letter A, that selects everything. Alt A. So in 3D, Alt is usually the opposite. So just to let you know, Alt, as in the alternative, like I know you know what Alt means, but the alternative of the thing that you just did. So the alternative is the opposite. In this case, in 3D. In our 3D cursor, we can just move our cursor around. This is our cursor. And we just have it on left click. Blender used to be right click, but now right click just gives you another context menu. Now gives you the object context menu. but we can click on two things. We're just moving on the cursor. We're not selecting, right? We're not selecting. We are just taking the cursor and we are moving it around. That's all that we are doing. Moving the cursor around. And when you move the cursor around, it is a good idea to move our navigation gizmo to see exactly where it's at. All right. So that is how you select things and use the cursor. I'm going to keep these videos a little shorter so that you can have them to refer to them really quick. All right. I'll see you in the next video.